Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. How you doing? And on the line, we have Mr. Tod Purvis out there in the sunny Southern California area. Not so sunny now, but it's kind of overcast. Hey Todd, how you doing?
I'm good, Wayne. How are you doing?
I am. I wake up every day, and that's a good sign.
Exactly.
That's a good sign. So, let's see. Where do we begin? We do have history. We started out... Now, your career started out a little slow. I would say Stockton Civic Theater, yes.
This is very... You can't get really any slower than that. I
don't know.
Unless it's Tokay Players in Lodi, California.
Yeah, exactly. Tokay is like the snail, you know. So anyway, yeah, and that's been a while ago. You and I were in a show in the 90s, and it was fabulous. It was just fantastic. I learned a great deal from all that experience. And then you decided, L.A., here I come. Well,
I did.
How'd that work?
I walked the plank, I took the bullet, and I moved down to L.A. So.
Yeah, well, you got a theatrical career too. You've done shows at the Curran Theater in San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah,
I've done a lot of plays and a lot of independent films, both feature length and short films and stuff like that. So it's been a nice ride.
Oh yeah. Now I'll just get paid for it.
Exactly.
That's my deal, man. I love acting. I love the stage. Now give me a check.
Yeah, give me something. Yeah.
Yeah, give me that craft services. No, screw that.
I'll take that home with me then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pay my rent with it.
Yeah, you bet. So your film that is out now in the independent circuit, you are in it with your brother Justin.
Yes.
And it's called Driving Blind. Can you explain what the background is and what it's all about?
Well, it's actually, my brother and I are both diagnosed with a rare eye disease called choroideremia. And what it is basically an X-linked disease that eventually can lead to blindness. And so he was diagnosed when he was probably 13 years old, and I was finally diagnosed about 2009. And so with this diagnosis, we kind of decided to take this road trip around America and see everything we could possibly see before we go blind. And so that's what the movie Driving Blind is about. It's about us driving around the country and seeing as basically as much as we possibly can, you know, a smorgasbord, a buffet for our eyes to shove as much images as we can before this disease steals our vision.
Yeah, wow. I mean, does it, in the research that you've done, does it stop or does it just continually? Is it degenerative? Does it just continue?
It can, well, the problem is there's no way to tell.
Oh, okay.
It can stop. It cannot stop. It can obviously never get better, unfortunately, without any kind of medical interference that they're still working on.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main. I actually have an appointment tomorrow at the Jules Stein Institute at UCLA to get my eyes checked for my annual eye exam to see how it's changed in the last year. So hopefully it hasn't changed that much, and so that way I can continue to have some vision left, a certain percentage of vision left.
Yeah. Now, and when you and I worked together picking up dead bodies, you didn't have it at all then, or you didn't know about it then?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was in there, but it was so slight that it didn't cause any issues, and I basically didn't really notice anything major till probably 2008.
Yeah.
In my mid to late, well, how old am I now? Oh, my middle. I want to say early 30s. Let's just say that's when it kind of within a year I noticed some severe changes in my eyesight, and especially my night vision, because that's what the disease does. Is it robs your night vision, it robs your peripheral vision, and it also can mess with depth perception and colors and stuff like that. So it basically just turns off the choroid of your eye, which is right behind the retina. And the choroid helps the retina talk to the optic nerve. So once that's gone, they can't communicate, and your eye kind of freaks out.
Wow. You're man. That's I would not know what to do if I didn't have my sight, man. Really.
Yeah, it gets. I mean, it's most of the time. I mean, I want to say when it first started to happen, it was very disturbing and depressing and stressful and just horrible. But once you kind of you're okay, you're not dead. You're still waking up every morning.
Yeah.
So just kind of see what happens, and in this day and age, there's so much you can do even with severe vision loss or complete blindness. So,
yeah. Was your next step learning Braille?
No, I've talked about that, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen because Braille is really hard to learn.
Yeah.
And so, luckily, there's enough computer programs that you can have stuff read to you, and through voice recognition and stuff like that. That hopefully I won't have to try and stress out and learn Braille.
It's like, damn, that's
because it still feels like bumps to me. So I'm just like,
that's a bump. No, it's
that's a smudge on the paper.
Yeah. It's, you don't want to hear. You don't want to have somebody sitting next to you going, "No, honey, that's not a bump."
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So now you've been all over the place. Now this film, where was it premiered at?
It actually premiered in Studio City, California, in February of this year. Our first film festival was there, and that's where the world premiere and the Southern California premiere.
Wow! And now it's in New York, I hear.
It is in New York tomorrow.
My God!
I'm sorry, which would be yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
It is in New York, and we've actually had another festival earlier in the year in New York.
Jeez.
So we've had a New York premiere, a California premiere, and we're in a total of 13 film festivals right now, and still hopefully at least maybe a dozen or so more hopefully to get into and hear back from.
Gee, money, Christmas! I mean, you traveled once to make the film. You may have to travel again to promote it.
Oh, it kind of is a whole new world, the whole film festival circuit. And so it's very educational and heartbreaking and wonderful, and every emotion you could possibly think of is there.
Jeez! Now you got a lovely better half that is helping support you in all this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always awesome having people around.
That is a plus, and it's definitely with whatever you're going through. That's great to have, but especially if you're dealing with something like vision loss or something like that, it's always important to have someone with you or a group of people with you that are there for you. And I've been blessed to have more than one great friend who's been there and supportive of me and my brother and the film and everything like that. So.
Now, have you met other people with the same thing? Or?
Oh yeah, there's actually a small research foundation, and actually, the film, all the profits, if there's any profits from a documentary, which is very seldom, are being donated to our research foundation to help research and promote awareness of the disease. Yeah. But it's kind of funny because the more you get into something that's quote unquote rare, the more people you meet, the less rare it seems. I mean, I know 20 people with the disease now, whereas 4 or 5 years ago, no one I knew had it, and no one I knew had even heard of it. Even my eye doctors had never heard of it. So it was kind of an interesting twist.
Oh man, jeez. So literally, I mean, it's going to rob you at some point.
It can.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing is that we met people on the trip who have. Down to 2% vision, down to completely blind, full vision loss, and then there's people like me. I'm down to about 45% left.
Yeah.
And so and hopefully mine will stay there because it's actually supposed to peak in your mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
So hopefully mine stays the same where I don't lose any more.
Yeah.
But there, like I said on our trip, we met 12-year-old kids who had 10% or less vision left, and so that's just horrible. We were just like, wow. I mean, I'm 41 and get depressed about my eyesight, but this 13-year-old boy has it, and he's down to 10%, and he's still they were in a heavy metal band, and they were amazingly great spirited kids, and it's like, wow, it's amazing. Jeez. You guys are doing some days better than I do. So.
Jeez. Now, is this a genetic? Is this hereditary, or is it?
It is. It is a genetically link disease. It's passed on from the mother. And the weirdest part for us was that it was a total mutation because there was no history on my mother's side of the family of anything like this.
Wow.
So we don't know where it came from, who gave it to who kind of thing. But just, we drew the lucky straws and got it, both my brother and I.
Oh, man. It's bad enough when one person gets it. Both. Wow. That sucks. Now, your brother, Justin, he's down to what limit of sight does he have at this point?
He actually is down to 12%.
Ooh.
So he's legally blind, doesn't drive, uses a cane, actually is on full disability because of his vision.
Jeez. Yeah, I got a friend of mine in Michigan has, I forget the name of it. It starts with a K, Keratoconus or something like that. The same thing. It's the not retinas, or retinas, yeah, maybe, that are shaped as a cone, and she's on total disability, but she can see. And then she just can't drive. She can walk.
Yeah.
She has to sit like really close to the movies at the theater,
Yeah.
So,
and it's tough too because like for me especially, and this is, where it's like I'm two-sided to take advantage of some of the programs they offer, but I'm not visually good enough to do some of the other things, like drive at night. I don't usually do. And as far as when I go to new places and new environments, I use a blind stick because I get very, anxious and very, nervous walking into dark rooms because I can't see anything. So I, have a cane so people know why I'm standing there stopped in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, it's kind of disorienting.
I've had people yell at me, "Get out the way," and I'm like, "I can't see. Give me a second."
Yeah, it's like you get like really anxious. You're like, oh my god, and everything.
Especially going into movie theaters and dark restaurants, you would not believe how when your eyes are sensitive to low light. If you go into any kind of semi-nice restaurant, how dark it is. You're just like, oh, man, why is it so dark in here? Seriously. Just bring it up a little bit. I want to see the food, please.
Turn on the sun. I'd like to see where I'm going.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's when I watched the trailer, man, and you said you were going to send me the film. When I watched the trailer, I'm just amazed that your brother and you just shot these guns. I'm just like, no, I'm out of the room, dude. I'll just stand over here. How was that? What was that experience like?
That was awesome.
What did you shoot? What kind of weapons did you shoot?
We shot a 9mm. We shot, I want to say an AK-47. And then the last gun was a saw machine gun. That was just basically a wall of lead. You're just throwing walls of lead at the targets. It was amazingly fun.
God,
but yeah, you could pretty much rent any gun there. Any gun there is, they had it there.
Jesus. Where was that at? What state was that?
That was in the gun store in Las Vegas.
Oh my God, that's probably the same store my brother and my niece went to. They shot AK-47s. They shot
any kind of gun, Thompson submachine gun. I mean, any kind of gun you want, they have.
My brother brought the targets home. He goes, "Yeah, that's mine right there with all the holes in it." I said, "It's one massive hole." He goes, "Yeah, exactly." So yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this whole it doesn't seem like this disorder stops you from doing anything. It's just kind of slowed you up a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely has slowed me down at times. But what's amazing to me is that when I about 2008, 2009, when my eyes were getting really severe, I was getting thoroughly depressed about it, and I was like, I would go home from work, lock myself in my apartment, and just stay home because I was too kind of anxious, too nervous to go out and try new things. Yeah. But doing the trip kind of brought me out of that in a way because every day, every night, we were in a new environment where we had to force ourselves to actually, function, or else you have a choice. It's either curl up in a ball and don't do anything, or get through the day, get through the night, and have an adventure doing it. And, we did stuff like, went camping, which, I haven't been camping in 25 years, and there we are trying to set up a tent in the dark, and we can't see anything. And then we went on mountain climbing at night. We jumped off cliffs. We explored all these new places that usually before the trip I would be been too intimidated to try. But like I said, being on that trip kind of forced me to face my fear.
Oh, yeah.
And as well as my brother, too, and just get out there and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like you guys had a really good time, though. You know?
Oh, we had a blast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a blast, but it's still, 38 days in the same car with your brother, or anybody would drive you crazy at times. But more or less, it was a blast and would totally do it again in a heartbeat.
God. Yeah, 38 days with my brother, he'd be going, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
One of us is not going to survive this trip.
Yeah. To leave, one come back.
Two brothers enter, one brother leaves.
Yeah.
Driving blind, don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where did you dump the body? I don't know. I'm blind. I couldn't tell.
Exactly. It's the best excuse ever.
There you go.
I'm blind. I can't tell you where it was.
I just heard birds. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
And water. I remember water. It was either a river or somebody, urinating. So anyway. Yeah, so just watching from the trailers and everything, I look at that and I go, man, that never let up. It like you just move forward, just keep going, no matter what. It was just adventure after adventure, and I saw
it was a little insane at times because we actually we shot for a total of 38 days.
Yeah.
We stopped. We hit 33 states, and it was pretty much get in the car, drive 5, 6 hours, 7 hours sometimes, get out, do something crazy, do something fun, go to bed, get up early in the morning, and do the same thing, and rinse and repeat for 38 days, and it was amazing. I mean, it's one of those once in a lifetime trips that we have now, not only in our memories, but we have I think a really amazing film that both Brian Griffo, the director, and Ryan Ditzel, the cinematographer, did a phenomenal job of putting together.
Now, and of course, no budget on this film.
No budget whatsoever. I mean, well, there was a budget and there is a budget, but we're still paying for it now. It's one of those credit cards and family, and I still got X amount of debt from it still. So, but it's one of those, independent means independent. It's not just less than 500,000, less than 5 million. No, we spent about $70,000 of our own money on it.
Man.
And so it was just kind of one of those things. I mean, we also had a lot of wonderful friends and family who donated and gifted us money and camping gear and gas cards and Subway sandwich gift cards, and believe me, on the road, ain't nothing better than a Subway sandwich after you've been eating, bread and beef jerky in the car for a week.
Yeah, it's like 3 words: screw the diet.
Exactly.
And that's why I keep seeing your pictures up on Facebook, up on your page. You're like 5 miles here, and you're in the gym. I'm like, yeah, it's got to work off all that Subway.
Exactly.
God, man. So now what's the next thing on the plate? I mean, I see you're going to the gym. You're doing, what are you doing, a 5K or something like that?
I did actually a 5K Sunday.
Oh wow!
And I keep wanting to do. Well, I quit smoking about 4 months ago, and so this my new addiction now has become running, or else I'm just going to get fatter and just blah 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 blah. So I guess I gave up one bad habit for a semi good habit.
Yeah,
until my knees go out, which they're already hurting me.
Oh Jesus! Run, Forrest, run!
Exactly.
But yeah. I mean, looking at this whole thing, I can understand, because I've gone through a lot of depression early in my life, and it was after I quit drinking and quit drugs and quit all that. 25 years clean and sober right here.
Nice.
And I understand the depression of, being able to do something one time and then later you're going, how come my body's not letting me do this again?
Exactly. It's like you kind of miss that action, that feeling of doing it. And now you're like, I want to do that, but I can't, or I shouldn't. It's like, oh man, what's the point?
Yeah, I know.
So and I think it's like that with any kind of addiction, or any physical limitation. You know, you got to kind of make up for it with other things, which both me and my brother try and do.
Yeah. My knee is so screwed up. There's no way I could, do what we used to do. There's no way. Not picking up those 450-pound guys we had to call the
no
fire
way.
department. Yeah, no way, man. I'd be calling the fire department going, you pick them up. No.
Yeah, you guys do take care of this. I'm going to go sit down and take a nap.
Exactly.
Have some milk toast, watch Wheel of Fortune, and go to bed. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Hey, give me a shooter. I don't care. But yeah,
exactly.
God, I'm going to go play some old-fashioned duck hunt. You guys do work. But yeah, now on this whole journey, this whole journey of realizing, okay, I've done that. You got past your depression. You figured, well, either curl up in a ball or go have fun and enjoy life. Yeah. Now after that, when you got back, what went through your mind? It's like, I was just gone for 38 days. What's next in this adventure? What are you gonna do?
It was like, it was weird because I had first thought that I was going to live out on the East Coast where my parents lived.
Yeah.
But then once we'd finished, because I know but I work in television, I edit reality television.
Yeah.
And so I had decided that, I want to go back to Los Angeles with Brian, the director, and I want to help edit the film since I do this, and I think it'll help speed everything along. And so I decided to move back to LA, and we spent probably about almost 2 years, the two of us editing the whole film. So, that's been the last 2.5 years. And now the rest of this year, at least, will be set up with the festival circuit and hopefully getting it to distributors, getting it out there to Netflix and iTunes and maybe even in theaters for people to see and hopefully get something out of.
Yeah, and it's really educational. That's the key thing. Who was it here recently? I saw somebody, and I see this all the time. You hear these stories all the time where people with disorders or disabilities that are, they get to the point. It's like, I have to do something. I can't sit here.
Yeah.
And you see them, the quadriplegics that are going to an office, getting on a bus, going to work, and they get it's like, they're not on disability, they're working, or
exactly.
You see blind people.
And that's a big, that's a big thing for me that I have issues with myself and other people. It's just like today, in this day and age, I'm pretty sure that any person with any kind of disability, especially a vision disability, can still work.
Oh yeah.
It may be challenging, but you can still, go to work from home. There's so many computer jobs and stuff like that where you don't need to take, any kind of disability or anything like that. You can actually make decent money for yourself and help everything out.
Yeah. Now, going back to when you moved down to La La Land, Hollyweird, what was that like? Was that like a culture shock to you? Or what?
Oh, it was horrible. I think the first year or two that I moved here were horribly lonely and depressing.
Jeez.
It was just moved down here. I knew honestly 2 people in the entire city.
Oh my God.
Moved down here. I was managing a video store, and that didn't pay enough, so I ended up just quitting. Didn't have a job for about 2 months. I had to sell my motorcycle. Was about to pack up and move back to Stockton and live with my family. And then finally I got a job in the TV industry that paid me enough to pay my bills. And then slowly I worked my way up to what I do now. So it was not as glamorous and amazing that first year or two that I thought it would be, where you move down here and like, I want to be an actor, dun, 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 and then you're not really. You're just kind of down here going, why did I move down here? It's expensive and this and that. So
yeah, you move down there, I want to be an actor, and the next thing you're doing, you're shoveling hamburgers on a grill.
Exactly.
So
yep.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it works.
Pretty much, yeah. And either that or turn tricks on Hollywood and Vine.
Well, I don't want to talk about that right now. That's a different show.
Yeah, we won't
thought we weren't going to bring that up, Wayne.
Yeah, we won't go there. Yeah. No, yeah, wait till I get there to be a Brokeback Mountain moment. It's just, no, I'm kidding. Okay, folks. I'm just kidding. This is all fun. We've known each other for a while, so that didn't sound right either, so... Okay, let me take my foot out of my mouth now. So... let me segue back into this whole conversation here. Now, in this particular, day and time, and technology is just, running rampant, and you got nanobots, and you got all kinds of technological advances. Would there be a way, or is there a way, that they could, help other than eye transplant? Could there be a way that they can help you see?
There is a lot of work going on right now with stem cell stuff, and also gene therapy, and also even, honestly, bionic eyes, bionic retinas they're coming out with now. And there's a lot of, especially in England and Canada, there's a lot of research going into it, to gene therapy, where they replace the part of the gene that we're missing to not really replace the vision that we've lost, but to stop it from getting worse.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important, not necessarily for me or even my brother, but for, the younger kids and the babies that are born with it, because it's just like, you stop it when they're babies, they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I've seen on certain documentaries, even online, I've seen them where a person who is lost 65, 85, almost completely blind, they put a chip like in the back of their eye, they can plant it, or they have something on their eye, and they say themselves, "Oh, I see shapes, I know what it is." But and of course that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. But now the technology is just so advanced that you can put a chip behind your eye and boom, oh hey, wow, I can see clear.
I mean, it's amazing. I've said this to a couple of people, even people who have the disease who I've met, is just like, if there was a time or decade or century to go blind, this would be it, because there's so many advances happening almost daily.
Yeah.
That it's unbelievable. Or you're just like, like you said, you can put a chip in a person's eye, and then they're seeing shapes where they never saw anything before.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing what they can do nowadays.
Yeah, it's not. So the next time I see you, you'll look like Geordie LaForge or something.
Exactly.
That'd
be awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Man.
I'd go for it.
They see all kinds of spectrums and crap.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be cool. So, hey, we got like 2 minutes here, so man, we got to do this again. So whenever
I'd love to do it after you get the movie and watch it. I'd love to do it again.
Oh yeah. So we'll set it up after I get the movie. So you got all my information, and send it out this week, and
I will send it out tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Right on. So hey, Todd, man, you are Todd, man, the man. So anyway, hey, I'll tell Tom I talked to you. So I know.
Please do, dude.
Yeah. Did he finally get his interview with you as well, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna hit him up. Go, dude. So anyway, all right, dude. Have a great night, and we'll talk in a few days, and after I see the film, and we'll set up another one of these.
Awesome. That would be fantastic.
So you are awesome, dude, and keep up the great work, and keep us informed as to what's going on with the research and such. And,
I totally will, man.
And we will talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a good night.
You too.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Mr. Tod Purvis. Him and his brother Justin did a film called Driving Blind. If you want to know more about the film, go to drivingblindfilm.com. Check it out. Check out the trailers. And if you have a film festival going on in your neck of the woods, you can have it there as well. So more information there at drivingblind.com. And we will be back after this.